Hey, Transformation Challenge peeps, Coach Jess here. I'm coming at you today because by now, either you picked up one of these sheets at the front desk or you connected with your team and was emailed one. Either way, if you haven't gotten one yet, pick one up or let the front desk know and we can get you hooked up. At the top, it'll say determining your daily calories and macros. I wanted to go over it. It's really simple step by step, but there are a few things that I wanted to go over. Most important, just know that under our scope of practice, as coaches cannot give you specific numbers, but what we can do is guide you, and that this is a resource that we are providing. It is an accredited association that most of us coaches are certified through that does personal training, health, nutrition, all that stuff. So it is a reliable resource that you can use, not use, up to you, but you must consult your doctor or with a nutritionist before going through this. But again, we can guide you through it, okay? Also, there are a few things that I'm gonna go through step by step. So either have this paper with you with a calculator ready to go, or have it pulled up on your computer. Okay, first thing you're gonna need is to know your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. You're gonna find that in your in-body scan in your app. At the very bottom, there is a number there. Whatever that number says, that is your BMR. It probably should even label it as that. That is the amount of calories based off your scan of your body fat percentage, your muscle mass, your weight, height, age, and all those things. That is the amount of calories that says for you to even just survive at rest, that your body needs, okay? So you're gonna take that number in step one, and you're gonna times it with your activity factor. Below that, list what the activity factor number is that you're gonna multiply it, okay? I know some of you hardcore people that does OTF 5 days a week are gonna think, I'm not moderately active, but for this purpose, most of you do fall under moderately active. The one that is very active, that is like on top of strenuous exercise for 6 days a week, so it's not even at the 5 days, that you also have a physically demanding job where you're lifting all day and it's hard labor. If you have any questions about that, you can connect with your coach and just see where you fall. But I believe majority, if not all of you in this challenge is gonna fall under moderately active. So in step one, take your BMR and you're gonna times it by 1.55. Whatever number you get there, that is how many calories it's gonna take for you to even maintain your current look, your current weight. No changes happening. That's what you need to be at your current state. But most of you either wanna lose body fat or gain muscle. So need to just have that number. All right, so now we're moving on to step two. But I forgot, let's back up. So whatever number you got in step one, this is where you're gonna wanna connect with your coach and they're gonna guide you through a range. Because if you're going for body fat loss, you're gonna be in a deficit, okay? So they're going to guide you through a range based on how they know you, your goals, a little bit about your lifestyle and things like that. They're gonna give you a deficit if you're going for body fat loss. They're either gonna kind of work with that current number that you got and maybe put you in a surplus. Really talk to your coach about that. They will guide you. But just so you can continue with this, just know this is a trial and error. You will go through this and kind of look at it, maybe consult with your doctor, nutritionist, or with us coaches, and from there we might play around with it and tweak it. But now you have the formula, because when you lose weight or gain muscle mass, your BMR will always change, and you'll probably want to plug it in, see what your new calorie macros is. So this is a great tool to have. This is very valuable. All right, so just for this purpose only, okay? So this is not like Bible, like don't stick with this, okay? Just so you can keep doing the math and practice. If you are going for weight loss, take your number from step one and go ahead and just choose anywhere from 300 to 500 deficit. So take that number, people who are going for body fat loss, take that number from step one after you've done your multiplication and go ahead and minus 500 calories from it, or 300. You guys can play around with that, but put yourself in a deficit, and then that is now your new daily calorie count that you're gonna go for. If you are going for gaining muscle mass, you can either just keep it at that, answer from step 1, or you can go ahead and add another 100 to 200 calories to that, okay? Again, this is not going to be your final number. This is so you know how to plug in and use this resource and then show it to your coach, doctor, nutritionist, and get some guidance from us or get some confirmation from a nutritionist, okay? So now we're going to go on to step 2. Now that you figured out what your daily calories are with that new deficit or that new surplus, we're going to start breaking down your macros. So step number 2. This is only for people who are going for body fat loss, okay? If you are a female, you're going to use that number after female. If a male, use that number after males, okay? Number 1, it says goal weight in pounds times your protein factor will equal your grams of protein per day. Okay, so let me break that down. Goal weight, not that you want to lose 10 pounds. That's not the number that goes in there. Let's say you currently weigh 135, and by the end of the challenge, you would wish to weigh 125. Go ahead and put 125 times, if you're a female, times 0.73. You will get your grams of protein per day, an estimate, okay? If you're a male, it's a lot simpler. If you weigh 165 and you want to get down to 150, you're going to do 150 times 1, which is 150 grams of protein per day. So it's a little bit simpler for males in the sense it's just 1 gram per pound of body weight, okay? And again, those are numbers that based on our guidance or your nutritionist that we will play around with once we do it all, okay? So that's for people with body fat loss. And then people going for muscle gain, notice it's a little bit more and there's a range. So for females, you're gonna take your current weight, not your goal weight, just your current weight, and you have a range between 1 to 1.3 that you're gonna multiply your current weight, and that'll get you to your grams of protein per day. For males, it's gonna be 1 to 1.6. Multiply it times your current weight, and you will get to your grams of protein per day, okay? That's step number 1 for protein. Now, step number 2, you don't really have to necessarily use this, but we need it to keep going through the worksheet, okay? So step number 2, you're gonna find out how many calories out of your daily intake are coming from protein. So whatever you got for grams, this is for everybody. If you're going for muscle mass, body fat loss, this is for everybody. Number 2, you are going to take whatever answer you got for grams of protein and you're gonna times it by 4, because there's 4 calories in each gram of protein. Once you multiply that, whatever calorie count that says, that's how many calories are coming out of your answer, number 1, that's coming from protein sources, okay? Cool, hopefully you guys are still with me on this. All right, so now you've got all those answers, you've been writing it down, gonna flip it, and we're on to step 3, okay? We are now gonna figure out our fat intake. This is the same for weight loss and muscle gain. There is a range here to work with, okay? So for females, it says 0.20 to 0.25. That's really, we're trying to see, okay, do we wanna go more for 20% of your calories coming from fat, or do we want to go up a little bit more? That's something that your nutritionist or your coach is going to play with. Maybe they decide, hey, we're going to do a little less carbs, but we still want to get our calorie count, so we're going to put a little bit of into the fat category, or maybe into the protein category, take away from the fat, yada, yada, yada. Leave that to us and the nutritionist or your doctor. For males, it's a range of 0.20 to 0.30, so 20 to 30% of your calories coming from fat. Okay, so on number 1, you're gonna take your daily calories. Now, what does that mean? That new calorie count that you came up with, right? Once you got step 1, we either put you in a deficit or you're in a surplus. So whatever that number is, you're going to multiply it by whatever range you wanna do with. If you're going for body fat loss, you can play around and you can go on the lower end, 0.20. See what that looks like in terms of grams of fat and calories coming out of your daily intake. And then males maybe go a little bit higher. But like I said, we're just playing around so you know how to use this resource, okay? So take your either deficit or surplus calorie count and times it by 0.20. I'm just gonna say this for the video. And then that's gonna equal the calories that are coming out of your daily intake from fat, okay? Then on 2, this is where we're gonna figure out the grams. So you're gonna take the calories that you just came up with, this answer that you came up with, number 1, and you're gonna divide it by 9. There are 9 calories in each gram of fat, and whatever you get from that division, that's why there's a little slant, that's division, that's gonna give you the grams of fat per day. Okay, there we go. We figured out some numbers with fat. You're gonna move on to step 4. We're gonna do carb intake. This is fairly easy. We're just deducting everything that we've already figured out. Whatever's left is gonna be the calories coming from carbs. So you're gonna take your total daily calories, again, your new calorie count, the one that's in a surplus or in a deficit, whatever number you came up with. Then you're gonna minus the answer of protein calories, whatever you got from protein calories. Then you're gonna minus your fat calories that you ended up coming with. And then whatever equals is left will be your carb calories, okay? So then you'll go on to 2 to find out the grams. You're gonna take your carb calories, whatever you figured out there, number 1 under carbs, and then you're gonna divide it by 4 because there's 4 calories in each gram of carbs, and then equals, you will get your grams of carbs per day. Now, I know a lot of people who don't like carbs. We're gonna get you guys from stop being afraid of carbs. So don't freak out when you see all these numbers, because some of you guys are probably like, oh my gosh, I don't eat anywhere close to this, or oh my gosh, I eat way more than this. Don't start getting in your head about it, okay? So like I said, I'm just on this video to show you how to utilize this resource. We are here to guide you, or if you wanna consult with your doctor or nutritionist, okay? And then I left a space here where you can plug in all those numbers. How many calories are coming from protein, from fat, from carbs? Put all your grams down, okay? And then from there, you're gonna either take a screenshot, text it to your coach, nutritionist, or doctor, or you're going to bring it in person. We are here for you guys. And then we're gonna take a look at that number and we're gonna chat a little bit, or maybe you're gonna set up a phone chat with your coach or FaceTime, or whatever your coaches had said is best for your communication. So if this is something that you guys wanna utilize and get our guidance on, have this filled out, we'll take a look at it. And what we will do is, we can't get specific, but we'll be like, hey, what do you think of, like, let's up your protein here, let's minus a little bit of carbs, and then really kind of check on you and see how you feel about that, and how you're feeling like physically, and see if we kind of like got you in a good range. Before I let you guys go, I do want to say a few things, okay? I do know from experience in my earlier 20s, I had an eating disorder and a lot of like body dysmorphia, and I could not deal with numbers. I could not deal with scales. So I'm, praise the Lord, not like that anymore. But I do feel that, and if you are someone who's struggling with that and this is just not putting you in a good mental space, please don't feel like you have to do this to have success in this challenge. But if you feel comfortable, if you're female or even a male, because I've experienced it myself, feel free to chat with me. I would love to chat with you, guide you through where we can keep you mentally in a good space during this challenge, okay? So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Also, I would like to mention that you don't need to count every single calorie and all these things. It's just that if you are in a good mental space with numbers and weighing yourself and things like that, it's just a good thing to learn, right? Like if you've never tracked anything like that, just track it for a little bit. MyFitnessPal is a free app. Maybe some of you guys discovered other free apps where you can plug in and start to figure out, how many ounces is in this chicken, or what is a half a cup of rice of carbs and this like that. If you've never done that, it's a great tool to have. Once you practice it, you're not going to need that anymore or count every single calorie. I can now put together a meal for myself and go, all right, I know I need protein, some carbs, some fats, and a little bit of veggies here. I look at it and I know I've got, if I were to measure it, I would probably be pretty spot on. I've gotten good at it, but it started with me learning and tracking it. And also, if you've tried everything else, let this be a new thing that you try during this transformation challenge. Obviously, everybody wants to win, but for us coaches, what we really want more than anything else is that you not only have success going towards your goals and see a little bit of results, or maybe a lot of results, but success is really that you learn something that you're not only going to do just for the next 7 weeks, but that you're going to continue after the 8 weeks. You're going to continue seeing results in a way that's realistic, that fits your lifestyle, that doesn't drive you nuts, that doesn't get you up and down, up and down, up and down. The whole game of, lose some weight, gain some weight, build some muscle, lose the muscle, just something that you can now be for lifestyle, from here on out. Like, this is just a new thing that you're gonna do. And that's the goal for us coaches, is that that's why we wanted to do this and put these little different educational tips and tools for you guys, so that way you can really feel good in the next 7 weeks. And also, don't weigh yourself every day. Please, for the love of everything, stay away from weighing yourself every day. That's not healthy. And also, like, sometimes just those scales, they don't really tell you much, especially if you're going for body fat loss. You might sometimes not even know it, that you've gained a little bit of muscle mass. So then you're going to see the scale will go up and be discouraged. I had a girl in a transformation challenge. She was like, I feel so great. I'm so excited. She was so ready to do her in-body scan. And the first thing she saw was her weight, and it went up. And she was starting to get so down on herself. It was near the end of the transformation challenge. And she ended up losing over 3% body fat and gained some muscle mass. So that's where the pounds were coming from. So I went on long enough, but I wanted to make sure I went through this with you guys. Again, resource, use it, don't use it, consult with your doctor or nutritionist. Come to us and we will guide you and provide more resources and websites and apps if you guys want more of that. All right, guys. Well, have a great day. Week 2. Let's make it good. Bye, guys.